6, Class 5. We are now just doing a very, very brief section on measurement. A lot of this you will have done in the physics paper or the science paper that you do as part of your certificate. You're going to need measurement everywhere, so whether it's an engineer, a cook or anything, you're just going to need measurement. To standardise things, we use measurements in the SI system, the Système International system, and we look at mass, length, time, temperature, and so on. Now, sometimes we do use units that are not part of the SI system, like we talk about, well, I particularly would talk about centimetres rather than millimetres, but that's because I'm not an engineer and I don't pretend to be an engineer. But if you're going to be an engineer, you need to measure your lengths in metres or parts of metres. You need to talk about temperatures in Kelvin, not Celsius, and kilograms and so on. But if we're going to talk about things, little measurements that are smaller or bigger, then we do have to use prefixes. We'd use milli, we'd use micro, we'd use nano, might use pico. You'd certainly use kilo, mega, giga, and tera, and you might well use peta as well. Self-explanatory, a metre is 100 centimetres and so on. 100 centimetres by 100 centimetres. A litre, yes, that's sometimes something that people have a difficulty with, particularly then when they put a litre into just one of these little squares here, these little cubes in here. So then you've got 10 of them by 10 of them, and that gives you a cubic metre, and a cubic metre is 1,000 litres. We need to measure angles. We can measure angles in degrees or radians. Here I've got them in degrees. And just a brief thing here, we're going to go on. Hypotenuse is the longest side. It's opposite the right angle. Got 180 degrees on a straight line. So a full turn would be 360. A quarter turn would be 90. A half turn, as it's got there, is 180, and a three-quarter turn would be 270 degrees. In engineering, a lot of the time we talk in radians. A radian is the angle, or a measure of the angle. So 1 radian is if you take a radius, that length, and run it around the circle, then the angle that you get there is 1 radian. When you come to do calculus, you're going to need to use radians, so it's a good idea to get used to them at this stage. Now, we can use our calculators, or we can use old-fashioned maths. If we know that 1 radian, pi radians is equivalent to 180 degrees, then we can say 1 radian equals 180 over pi, or we could go the other way, 1 degree equals pi over 180 degrees, and we could use those to do the calculation. So we could say that this is equal to 72 times pi over 180, which 1.26 is the answer roughly on your calculator. Or if this one is in radians, now if it doesn't have the unit, it's radians. If it's in degrees, it has to have the circle. It may or may not have the little r, but to do that on your you can do it on your calculators this way, or you could use your calculators directly. If we're going to change 72 into radians, we'd need to have our calculator in radians, because that's where we're going, and we'd go 72 shift answer 1 and then equals, and then we'd get 1.26, which has no unit, so it's radians. Similarly, for changing something that is in radians into degrees, it would be 1.4. We'd have our calculator in degrees, because that's where we're going. So 1.4 shift answer 2, and we'd get 80.2 degrees as before. So there's just the things on your calculator. You need to have your calculator set to the mode that you're going to. All of these you'll find in any textbook, any look up on the internet, you'll find these. Just make sure that if you're finding the area of a circle there or area of a sector, so the area of a sector where you've got a half r squared theta, that theta is in radians. Same if you're finding the arc length where you've got that the arc length is theta, that's the length around there. Again, theta is in radians. List of volumes, you'll find that in any textbook. You should have found by now kilogram, 1,000 grams, gram, 1,000 milligrams, milligram, 1,000 micrograms. That's pretty standard. But what we do need to be able to do is to convert between some common units and some that are, well, the SI units. So if we need to work out how many seconds in a day, we'd start off 1 day equals 24 hours over 1 day. Now we haven't done anything because all we're doing is multiplying by 1. Then we'd multiply that by 60 minutes by 1 hour. We haven't done anything, that's still multiplying by 1, times 60 seconds over a minute. Haven't done anything, all we've done is multiply by 1. Now, cancel out the units if you will, so that makes it 1 day times. Okay, day, hours, minutes. All we're left with is seconds will be our unit, which is what we wanted. And we have to multiply 24 times 60, which will give us 86,400 if I remember correctly. So 1 day equals 86,400 seconds, if you needed to make some conversion like that. To convert 325 millimeters to meters, for example, we know that the conversion factor will be 1 meter equals 1,000 millimeters. So let's write 325 millimeters equals 1 meter over 1,000 millimeters, and then cancel the units. Then we end up with 325 meters over 1,000, which is 0.325 meters. Now you can use your calculators for this. We have a mode on the calculator, the engineering mode, and it's really useful for converting measurements to SI units. So if we type in 325 millimeters and then shift eng button to call up the engineering button, and we would get 0.325 meters. If we had, for example, 32.5 millimeters, we'd do the same, shift eng, and we would get 0.0325 meters. If we had a different calculation this time, if we had 325 meters, then we go shift eng, and we would come up with 0.325 kilometers.